We serve ministry.
I have changed the diaper, and this is the song.
White shirt, now stained. Oh, thanks a lot. Sleeping, we don't do enough of Netflix. May save us for a month. Kids be like tornadoes. Roots in your ego, so you say you can't do homeschool every day. Screen time, those rules are thrown away. Eat some snacks once again. So you're stressed, mom, like to keep more rest, mom. Wish you looked your best, mom, they're giving you the test, mom. You're the black type, make your kids feel right tight. Even when you're mad tight, like to kiss their dad type. You're a good mom. Duh. You're a good mom. All the pressure is put on you. How much coffee for you to brew that bored and hungry? What to do? Eat some snacks once again. Sometimes you're feeling so alone. I'll call your name from different rooms. Patience, work has you in a zone. Oops, they're here storming in. So much going on, mom. Wish you'd have a clone, mom. Helpful for the clothes, mom. Online fitness zone, mom. But you're the real type, sharing how you feel type. Yeah, your swears with zeal type. Pray to God to heal type. You're a good mom. Duh. You're a good mom. Duh. You know that you're a good mom. Yeah, sometimes I get mad. I guess I'm pretty glad when I'm alone. These kids may be scared of me. I mean, I don't see what they see, but maybe it's 'cause I'm wearing my contacts wrong. I'm a good mom. Chips and salsa for dinner again. Yeah, maybe ice cream sandwiches.
Thanks to all who are just joining us today. Happy Friday. Want to just give a quick reminder before we get started. All this is for the Center for Disaster Philanthropy. We'd love to have you donate. We have a giveaway that's finishing next week, and that is a custom patio swing. So take a look there, send us your donations, and we'd love to see you in a new patio. Show starting in just a few. Grab the kiddos, grab those drinks. We're about to get started. Be sure to give us a share here. Invite your friends from wherever they are. Hey guys, so glad you could join for another week. It's Friday. You made it to Memorial Day weekend. Never thought this day would come. We've got an exciting slate of all new guests, entrepreneurs doing wonderful things from around the world. We have some activities, music guests. We take you to the highest peaks as well as out back. It's all coming up in week 9 of Camp Quarantine. Starts now. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. You guys have made it. Happy Friday. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Welcome to Camp Quarantine. We're so thrilled that you guys could join in. What a week. What a week it's been. I never thought that this official start of summer would truly be here. We are still here. We are here in our home studios in our backyard in Atlanta. I want to introduce myself for those of you who don't know. My name is Amrit B with Hustle and Hospitality. This will be our 9th week. I'm just going to keep saying it because I'm so excited, because that just means our next one is our 10th. What are we going to do? Well, I'm going to give you a quick heads up on how this is going to work, how this show is going to go. First off, a hello to all our new folks who are joining us for their first time. If you are joining us for your first time, we encourage you to do one thing, and that's participate. We encourage you to engage with us. We've got giveaways throughout. We're going to be taking live viewers on air. But number one, we'd love for you to give it a share. We are doing this out of the goodness of our heart. All the people that are our guests today, musical guests, our performers, our entrepreneurs, they are all doing it because they support the cause. And what is the cause? Why are we doing this? Well, we are doing this for the Center for Disaster Philanthropy, a wonderful organization that we have been supporting now for, again, 9 weeks, and they are promoting grants, and we'll get into a whole slew of that later and how you guys can participate. If you did join us a little early, you saw one of the giveaways we've got, so be sure to engage in that capacity. We would love to see some of your comments, so if you guys are first timers, drop a comment, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube on our website. We will get it. We'd love to bring you guys on board and share that. So speaking of sharing, share the feed right now, because we want to make sure that your families and friends that you guys are with have an opportunity to participate and partake as well. We have an exciting slate, but let's get into this week. For those of you that don't know, today is the unofficial day of summer, but it is also It is also National Cooler Day. So I hope you folks out there are sipping a cold one, whether that be juice or a tasty beverage or a margarita or wherever you may be. We know you've earned it. Today is Cooler Day. Today also happens to be a few other things. Maritime Day, those of you that are headed up to the lake. Watching up from some of the lakes down in the southeast or around the country, we salute you. But it's obviously also Memorial Day weekend, which means we will be honoring some of the fallen, as well as, of course, our healthcare heroes. Well, I'm going to continue to go through what other days it is. It also happens to be National Road Trip Day. Excuse me. If you all are taking a road trip, we'd love to hear where you are headed. Drop the comments, as I mentioned below, and we'll continue to feature them. I don't know what summer means to you all, but here in the South in Atlanta, Georgia, next to a beverage, this becomes my best friend. No, it's not an advertisement, but if you see me doing this, it's because you know it's summer in the South when the mosquitoes are in full swing. So either you will see me swatting or you'll hear the arc of the little mosquito zapper in the background. So for that, I don't apologize. Nevertheless, we are so stoked to have you guys. Want to know where you guys are from? So drop a comment below, let us know. But we have guests from all over. I say that because usually we like to tout our international guests, and we've got a few of those today to end. So a little bit of how the show is going to work. Oh, there was the arc. I hope you all heard it. It scares the crap out of my dog. But nevertheless, it works and definitely gets rid of the mosquitoes. So how this is going to work is we are going to swap every about 5 minutes. We have a whole slew of PG-rated, family-friendly activities and guests and inspirational people. So without further ado, I would love to jump right into it. Our first guest, as you know, if you guys are regulars to Camp Quarantine, which we hope you certainly are, we usually start off with some wellness, and there's nothing better than putting on all those pounds in the pandemic, but at the same time, also working them off. So we're going to chat with a good friend of mine from who's a former classmate of mine, Miss Arshelle Bernard, and she has a wonderful company named the Bombshell Factory. Arshelle, are you there?
Hey, I'm so happy
Thanks
to
so much
be
for
here.
joining us. How you doing? Happy Friday. She is one of the most bubbly and honest and humble people I've ever met. So I'm going to let her share a little bit about herself, and I think she's going to take us through an activity.
All right. Well, thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to be here at Camp Quarantine. So, my name's Arshelle. I have an ethical African fashion factory that's based in Monrovia, Liberia. I opened it as a response to unemployment after Ebola. So, right now we're in Corona COVID-19 time, and this is actually my second big health crisis, I guess. And so it was really important for me to do work after Ebola. And now with Corona and everything being so uncertain, I knew that we had to spring into action again. So my company started to make masks in Liberia, and they were so successful in Liberia that we started to make them here. And so here we make the reversible masks. So I have one of those. So if you see me out and about, I'm wearing a reversible African cloth mask that's sustainably made because I basically cut up all of our inventory that was intended to sell and turned that into face masks.
I want to give you this mask.
Arshelle, I'm showing the video here. You want to watch the folks take a look?
Oh, yeah.
We are all
I'm really
longing
excited
for
about
closeness,
that. We've been
togetherness,
for every mask that we sell in the U.S.,
unity.
we have donated
what it
another
means to be
mask to
together has
somebody in the Auburn
changed
Avenue community
overnight.
because I've been so close to a lot of the homeless community
When
there over the past few
COVID-19 made
years.
its way to Liberia, I
And
sent
so
orders to
we've
close
donated
the
almost
factory
400
doors.
masks.
The
to
safety of my team
homeless
was
and
far too
elderly
important to put at
residents
risk.
of the Auburn Avenue community
But
here in
Blessing
Atlanta.
had a better idea.
And then there's a place on my
making
website where
masks
people can
out of
just
what would have been
donate
our
$5,
spring collection.
and that will go to a woman keeping her salary during these crazy times where she can't make clothes because nobody's shopping for fashion in Liberia. And we provided about 300 masks to market women in Monrovia this week alone. So I'm really excited for all the good that we've been able to do just through this.
Now, you also, Arshelle, you also have been doing not only just the masks, but I understand I'd love to hear a little bit more about, I guess, some of the other lines you have and where folks can find you. So you gonna share a little bit about Bombshell Active for us?
Oh, so right now I'm in a bleach dye jumpsuit. It's been a lot of fun because I've just been playing with lots of it's really a loungewear time of year. So active has been so popular for us. And also I've been trying to keep my hands creating. So I got this plain cotton jumpsuit and I just did bleach on it. And on Instagram, you can follow me at It's Our Shell. I've been showing people how to do this with some of the things in their closet, just so that we can take this time and be more sustainable and creative in our fashion. So active is great because we want to work off that quarantine 15 as places are starting to open up. I'm still staying home, but also while I'm home, I want to have loungewear that reflects how excited I am to just have some free time to play and create.
Arshel, now for folks, I guess, that don't know your backstory, do you mind sharing how you may have gotten into fashion, or what things or inspirations that kind of took you down that path? You've been doing that now for how long?
I have been a fashion social entrepreneur for almost a decade now. I moved to Liberia right after Georgia Tech, right after I graduated. And I moved really to be the West African Oprah Winfrey. And when I got there, I realized that nobody really needed lifestyle journalism in the way that I felt, in the way that I wanted to pursue it. So I quickly pivoted to clothing, because when people would see me in these clothes, they would be like, I want that. Where can I get that? And I'm like, I'll sell it to you. So I started my business more out of a necessity than out of a desire. And now I just love it. I love making women look and feel beautiful in pieces that other women can then in turn pay their whole household bills because they've made these clothes and they've earned a fair wage from it.
That's so exciting. I always run into you, and I want you to share the story because I think you tell it the best. But I'll add on. Arshel, how many times have we met? How have we met? I always like to tell our guests exactly how I run into some of the guests that we have, or excuse me, our audience, how I run into some of the guests we have, or kind of what brings us there. But I'm going to let you share that just for a minute.
Absolutely. I find myself to be such an extremely memorable person, and apparently Emirates does not feel the same way about me, because
that's not true.
It is so, well, it's not true anymore, I guess, but it only took us about 4 or 5 years, would you say, of having met each other before it was like, okay, look, I know you. I always knew him, but I always felt like either I was not hot enough or not memorable enough for him to be like, yeah,
wow,
yeah, I know you too.
So fickle she thinks I am. Well, for all you kids out there, I guess what I was hoping that she might have shared was, I think the universe does bring people together in their own weird ways, and in any sense, it's always funny to see how many of those same people keep recurring and coming back and back and back. And I want to always share and expose a lot of folks to that sentiment that, don't shy that away. There's a reason Arshel kept bopping into my life, and either way, because it was a few sodas deep or whatever it may have been, we always kept running into each other. And our institute, Georgia Tech, which we've had a lot of guests on. Last week we were thrilled to have Jeremiah Atachu from the Denver Broncos on board as well. But all these relationships are because folks that you run into your day to day, you establish a great connection with, and you want to keep that. So 10 years, a decade down the line, we still have that. So thanks so much, Arshel. You want to share with folks how they can find you? I've popped up one of your handles below.
Yeah. Follow me personally at It's Arshel, ITSARCHEL on Instagram. And then also our clothing and the amazing things that we're doing there are on Shop Bombshell. So SHOPBOMBCHEL. So it's spelled like my name.
I love it. Arshel, thanks so much for joining us. Stay tuned here with us. I hope you'll continue to watch the rest of the show. And for the rest of you there, that's just our first act. So we got maybe 6 or 7 more just like that through the hour, and it goes by real quick. So we encourage you to celebrate today and celebrate every day. Do give Arshel a follow. Her masks are phenomenal, and we shared where those are coming from and how those are being manufactured and who those are supporting. Now, I'm also keeping my eyes on this massive cloud. We had an Easter egg show about 2 weeks ago, because in our 9 weeks of doing it in Atlanta, today it is 84 degrees, but it looks like we might be getting a storm. So I hope we can get the show in, but if not, I guess it'll be a little bit wet, and I appreciate y'all sticking with us. So we're going to keep moving along. Arshel talked about staying active during the pandemic. Well, I want to know if you know where the pandemic word comes from. Does anyone know? Comment below if you know, and we'll be sure to feature you and share how bright you are. But let's take a look at this panda. I don't know about you, but I could probably stare at that panda for a very, very long time. Now, what's the wildlife is returning. That's why I wanted to share that. We're seeing a lot more in the globe of all these animals that are coming back. Last week we celebrated National Endangered Species Days, but did you know that on average a panda feeds for approximately 12 hours a day? 12 hours a day. Did you know that this is the same as an adult in quarantine? That is why we call it a pandemic. Anyways, we're going to continue right along. Hopefully you guys enjoy my dry dad humor. But the next guest we have is Aman. Now, last week we tried to get Aman aboard. He's also a tech grad, but we had a chance to chat with him and wanted to make sure that his interview was shared again because we had some technical issues last week. But Aman, if you're there and you'd like to share what you are doing currently to assist during the pandemic, I'm ecstatic to hear it. Aman, thanks so much for being on. We appreciate it. Really appreciate you being there. Hello from Boston, is that correct?
That's right. Yep, here in Brookline.
So talk to us a little bit about Ministry of Supply and how long it's been around, and certainly what you guys are doing amidst this whole pandemic.
Yeah, so thanks so much for having me. I'm super excited to reconnect and see you. It's been far too long, and I think we have a lot to catch up on for sure. As a bit of background on what we're doing now, we started Ministry of Supply. It's been about 8 years now. My partner and I met while in school. He was an undergrad and I was in grad school, and both came from engineering backgrounds and wanted to start something exciting. And so we started this clothing company, taking everything we love from our favorite gym clothes and our favorite lounge clothes, all that engineering and performance, and melding it into our least favorite, outside of the gym clothing. So I think dress shirts that are super soft, stretchy, machine washable, wrinkle free, and just something you look forward to wearing. So it's been kind of a wild ride in the last 8 to 10 weeks with being stuck at home as a clothing company that makes clothing for people generally out of home. You can imagine we took a pretty big hit as a business. We also have 6 stores around the country, all 6 of course being shut down right now. And so what we did is we kind of put ourselves to work. We started first by just donating a bunch of masks. We ended up donating about 40,000 masks, with another 30,000 on the way. So we're able to just make a big impact, we think, on getting respirators into the hands of hospitals and shelters that need them. But most recently, we were taken aback by the wild numbers that we saw in unemployment reports. And we felt like we had to do something there too, and just kind of had this idea that if we could just help people in some small way as people start to go back to work and start interviewing potentially for new jobs, we'd feel good about our role in kind of promoting people's life's work, which is our mission. And so we launched these complimentary interview outfits where we basically said, look, if you're in a position where you need clothing for an interview, you need to look sharp for that interview, but you don't have any and you can't afford to go get any, then let us send you some, and you can borrow it as long as you need it, and send it back after you ace the interview, and you're all set. So we launched that just earlier this week, and we've been totally blown away by the response. It's been just truly spectacular seeing how people have jumped in, and whether it just be passing it along to a friend, just saying thanks, or applying and soon getting an order fulfilled. It's been a really special experience.
Now, these are actual Ministry of Supply suits and things like that you guys are putting out?
Yeah, exactly. It's just, we ask basically what's the item you have most in need. And we, if we can spare it, we send it. And it looks like as of now, we've fulfilled every reasonable order that we can. Right. In some cases, there are a couple of issues, whether it be something that comes up on the way. But for every order that we can fill, we fill, and that's been the vast majority of them. We've been able to scratch the itch.
Now, y'all are based in Boston, but where is the furthest you've seen somebody either, I guess, submit or applies? Like, that's always the most intriguing thing. I see people that are watching Camp Quarantine from all around the world, or we hear folks from New Zealand and things like that. I'm just curious what kind of global outreach maybe you guys have seen as a result of this.
Yeah, it's been remarkable. And our customer base is just so spectacular and so supportive. We did limit this one to US only, just from a logistics standpoint, to kind of keep the program a little bit simple. And then as we build it and kind of grow from here, no, we don't intend to stop with just this first round. We'll open that up, but we've seen representatives from, I would guess, the vast majority, if not every state, have put an application in.
I think it speaks volumes to not only, I guess, your philanthropic heart to hear that you are donating in the process of 70,000 masks, and then this initiative coming up as a kind of a secondary or tertiary, I think is just so admirable for your support of Camp Quarantine. We appreciate you jumping in and taking time out. I know today is your wife's birthday, so a very happy quarantine birthday to her.
That's right.
Hopefully we'll get to connect here soon, or at least chase some plastic, because I swear that was the last thing we were probably doing.
I think that's probably right, and I'm overdue too. So I can't thank you enough though, and hope you have a great rest of the night.
I'm so glad we were able to share that. Aman was actually in the car initially last week and wanted to jump on board, so we had a chance to get him back on and record it, and we're able to share that with him. But speaking of cars, while he was there, I found out this week that my car gets 3 months to the gallon. That excited me. Anyways, moving along, we wanted to remind you guys why we are here. So this is one of my favorite parts of the segment and kind of what got this entire thing started 9 weeks ago. And that is the Center for Disaster Philanthropy. That is a organization that is a global organization. Coca-Cola has, I know, contributed about approximately $2.5 million to their COVID-19 relief fund. And you can donate, and we'd love for you to do that throughout the broadcast. That's why we are all here. They produce grants, and they are ensuring that all our frontline and healthcare workers across the world are supplied with PPE, are getting everything that they need, getting meals, those kinds of things. And we featured many of those organizations throughout our past few weeks that are contributing and assisting as well. But I wanted to remind you an added incentive that is ending this last week. This is the last that you're going to hear of it from me, and that is how you can donate. And a little bit of a gentleman who wanted to contribute a little bit more. His name is Tyler Langston, and I'll share that clip from.
So I wanted to do something with the charity where I could do like maybe a giveaway or an auction or something where I could donate a swing, and whoever
Tyler, you kidding me?
Yeah, man, I think that would be really cool. You can set up whatever you think is best, and then I'll just build a swing for you.
So Tyler built the swing, actually. That is the one right there. And we would love to have you guys donate. And before May 29th, so next week, our Friday, May 29th show, we will be drawing a winner for that swing. Tyler was so generous, it did not matter, he said, where in the country. So I don't care if you're watching in Ohio, out west in California, Kansas City, where our next guest is from, or wherever, but just donate below at bit.ly/funds4disaster. Shoot us an email, give us an Instagram, shoot a DM, private message, whatever method you're on. You can, any amount will suffice, and you will be entered. So we'll draw that one more time next week, Friday the 29th. A custom patio swing. So folks, continue to donate to the Center for Disaster Philanthropy. But our next guest I'm going to bring up is a individual, a good friend of mine that I happen to meet. And we've had a few guests also from South by Southwest, maybe 8-9 years ago, where if you guys have been following, know that my quarantine started, at least in Austin this year. So we're going to bring him up, but we're also going to bring on a friend of Mr. Blake's. That's the next guest name, Mr. Blake Miller. But Blake told me that he had a friend stop by today, and I would love to share his message. Maybe you recognize him.
Hello, Team Home Base. Surprise! We're back, baby. We are back. And that is huge. That's what she said. I understand you guys are coming back into the office after your time away during COVID-19 disaster. Blake asked me to share with all of you some of the best office tips on working together as you reemerge from your caves and come together to begin working together again. Number one, kissing should not happen, at least for another couple weeks. All right. 2, if you have an office worker who has M&Ms in a giant jar on their desk, don't take the M&Ms. All right. 1, because I think that person wouldn't like that. I'm not really speaking from just guessing. They wouldn't like it. And 2, M&Ms can be germy.
M&Ms can be germy, right, Blake? Blake is the founder of Home Base, and so he had a unique guess. How did that happen? At least tell us for a second. How did you get that?
Trying to spark some joy for the team as they come back. Obviously, it's been crazy for everybody. This last 60, 70 days or so that we've all been locked down, and we opened the office back up last Friday. Our policies are if you feel sick, stay home. If you don't feel comfortable staying home, but I know a lot of our team wanted to come back, and so I wanted to try to spark some joy today. And I know we have a lot of big office fans out there, and who better to have somebody to bring in the nice, than Kevin.
Who better indeed? And also, even with the office, that's what she said innuendo. Did you have to figure extra for that? What did you promise him?
I wish I had an affiliate code I could share here, but I just go to cameo.com and was able to just say, hey, we've got our teams coming back, and give them a couple of pro tips on how to remember being in an office again, and I think those were good.
Now, Blake, you have, I can't remember, maybe it's been 4 weeks. We've been trying to get you on the show. So thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule and day.
I know you guys took so long, my friend.
I'm sorry. I said it took so long to try and get you on board. So I really appreciate the time. But one of the reasons I brought you was because you truly are somebody who, even with a message like that, it speaks volumes to your character as not only a leader, but a boss, but an individual yourself. When we first met, I remember how just humble you are. And I would love for you to share a little bit about kind of, yourself, how you came into Homebase, and certainly, obviously, what Homebase is for those that don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. So at homebase.ai, we help apartment owners future-proof their buildings and create this amazing smart living experience for their residents using smart technology, things like smart locks, community Wi-Fi, thermostats, all these things. And it provides these apps for residents so they can do everything from unlock their door, they can get connected to the internet like living in a hotel, they can pay their rent, request maintenance, all these things from one application. And it helps the property managers actually make a little bit more money while also improving the resident experience. So we think it's a win-win-win for everybody. And really what led me to this was some of my previous work. We were working with the city of Kansas City, Missouri, where I met here. Kind of give you guys a little background. But we help make one of the world's largest smart cities. And so deploying public Wi-Fi, smart street lights, digital kiosks, and all those different things here in our city, along with a streetcar that launched in 2016, led me to try to figure out how do we make our buildings smarter. We spend over 80% of our time there, and how do we make them smarter, more efficient, and all of that. So that's really kind of where we started off with Homebase.
Now, Blake, can I share with the folks here this video? I'd love to just give them a little bit more of a visual perspective. And if you'd like to narrate a little bit more, I think you've got a narrator in the back, so maybe we don't need that. But let me.
Yeah, no, I think with the video you're going to show just kind of really shows some of the things that we can automate for the property manager, but it makes this amazing experience for the resident where they don't have to worry about meeting up with somebody to get their key on the day of the move-in. And they can just get right into their apartment without having to meet up with anybody. Moving as it is stressful enough. You don't want to have to figure out when you're going to meet up with your property manager to get those keys to get in.
And it's not like people aren't spending a lot of time at home, right?
Definitely. And today with the COVID and everything, being more remote and contactless is something that we're helping property managers do without losing that actual contact with the resident and keeping them engaged.
Great. Well, let's see if I can't pull this up right here. Bear with me just one moment. Blake, what's your favorite part?
Have a drink.
Yeah, Blake, what's your favorite part of camping?
The drinks, man. Drinks.
Next to that, you got any wonderful camp story that you would share?
Any other parts of camping for me has got to be barbecue related. I have a competitive barbecue team called the Social Smokers. You can check us out on basically all the socials. Yeah, man.
Blake, I had no idea. Did you know that this month actually happens to be National Barbecue Month?
I do know that. And you should go check out our website. We can ship actually ribs and brisket and all that anywhere in the world ready to heat. Go to socialsmokersbbq.com. And we got a documentary on Amazon called Smoking Ribbons. It's been one of those things we just kind of do as buddies, a bunch of fraternity brothers we started after college. We've known about 10 years. And frankly, I think it's the coolest thing I do.
Blake, that's insane. I'm going to have to ask you about that. And if you don't mind shipping me some cooked, I will throw it back in the air fryer or whatever may try and do justice. But thanks so much for your time. We're going to leave some folks here with the clip on a little bit more about Homebase.
Thank you.
Automating the move-in and move-out with Homebase. Homebase enables the ultimate time saver, remote turn management. Just place fobs in a unit during lease-up and Homebase will turn them on and off with each turn. Here's how it works. At your convenience, add residents to Homebase and specify their move-in and move-out dates. Set the exact date and time they should be invited to use the Homebase app to unlock the door. Assign each resident a key fob, then leave the fobs in the unit and lock the door with the mobile manager app. Key fobs will not work until the resident moves in. Moving in with Homebase. On the date and time you scheduled the invite, residents will receive an email to download Homebase. With the Homebase app, residents will unlock their door. When they unlock the door for the first time, the app also activates their key fobs automatically. Moving out with Homebase. Upon move out, residents simply leave their key fobs inside the unit and lock the door for the final time using the Homebase app. Both key fob and Homebase app access will expire automatically at the end of their move out day. The fobs can stay in the unit. You will assign the same fob numbers to the next resident in the community manager. Once again, fobs will activate automatically when the new resident unlocks the door with the Homebase app. Less work, more freedom.
Feeling like we're walking into the Hilton in our very own homes. I love it. Blake, thank you so much for your time from Kansas City. Really thrilled that we were able to get you on the show. Next up, we have an individual who takes camping to a new meaning. What does that mean? Laura is from San Diego, California, and she owns Bivouac. Laura, you there? Laura, you there?
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
here.
there you go. You were just muted for a second. Hey, thanks so much for joining us. So Bivouac, I've practiced saying it at least, a couple times. I think I'm getting it right. But as you shared with me yesterday, why is Bivouac so pivotal? At least how does it matter for Camp Quarantine? I was so excited when you told me.
Yeah, so I was really excited when you reached out because our brands really coincide quite well. So for anybody who's following along, if they know what Bivouac is, chime in. But it is a temporary camp. So when I saw and looked through your vibe about going camping, I thought that's what we're all about. If you take a look,
this might be real temporary. This cloud is keeping on getting worse and worse and worse. So it might be super.
Well, I'm in San Diego, so we don't have that situation here. Skies are only blue.
Love it. Yeah. So Bivouac actually is it's a distillery, or it's a cider. It's a cider you have there.
Yeah,
but
cider.
I think I'm the one that told you that today happens to be National Craft Distillery Day. True story. So when you reached back out, I was just giddy because I said this couldn't be better. So talk to us a little bit about, I guess, Bivouac, the cider, and certainly how folks can find you and what makes you all so unique.
So where are most of your viewers? Is it all across the country, all across the world, or localized?
It is extremely saturated everywhere, and I love it. That's the way we like it to be. We have guests from so many different places. I have a lot of contacts out west in Los Angeles, San Diego area, as well as in Atlanta. So we have quite a bit of some of our audience over there. But we have folks in the Midwest. I keep having to advertise time zones from all over, so that makes me excited. But
congratulations on your show. It's such a creative idea. So Bivouac means temporary camp, and we're a hard cider out of San Diego, California. We started about 2 years ago. And basically, those of us that started the company were hikers, campers, climbers, kind of active adventurers. And, you think about the time when you go on a climb or a hike and you get to the top of a mountain and look out over the landscape, and like after you've hiked for a long day, that what you want is a nice cold beverage. And so that's why we created Bivouac. It's cider, hard cider, so made from apples, and then we have a lot of other fruit. We use European cider apples because they're complex and have a lot of tannins, more complex structure. And so our cider is more like wine than anything else. We range from very dry to semi-sweet flavors, but it's a lot drier than most of the commercial cider you've had out there. And I think we were talking about yesterday, all of our ciders are named after knots, and all of our branding and basically all the people involved in our company and all the people that are our target customers are those people that are like craft cider and active adventurers. So, yoga, surfing, climbing, all the things that we're about here in Southern California. We hope those are the type of people that are going to enjoy our cider.
I did not know that about the names. We're all about puns and alliteration. It's all just part of the having fun and staying positive amidst this. Now, share with me, Laura, how have you guys been doing during quarantine? How have you guys been staying, afloat, again, for lack of a better word, but talk to us about what's been keeping y'all busy the last few months.
Yeah, so this has definitely been a challenge. Like I said, we started about 2 years ago, and we've got our tap room and restaurant right in the heart of North Park in San Diego, which for those of you who know San Diego or those who don't, it's kind of the craft beer capital almost of the world. A lot of the best breweries in San Diego have an original or locations here. And so when we opened up, we wanted to say, San Diego is known for craft. It's known for taking traditional things and spinning them on their heads, and that's what we're all about. So we really wanted to be in the heart of that. So we opened 2 years ago, and then 1 year ago, we launched distribution in San Diego on draft. And then we came out with packages just in October. So this is our most popular cider. It's called San Diego Jam, which is a very popular fishing knot for those fishers out there. And then we've got Albright, which is a pear apple cider. And our newest flavor is Alpine Butterfly, which is a citrus botanical cider inspired by gin. So we've got some pretty unique flavors going on, but we launched cans in October, and then the shutdown happened at the end of February. So we were just getting going with our off-premise distribution. We're in liquor stores and small grocery stores in San Diego, and we just expanded into Orange County in February. And we got picked up by Bevmo and Total Wines and a few other kind of local grocery chains. And we are waiting to hear back from Whole Foods and things like that. And then shutdown happened. And I would say we lost about 95% of our business. So that was a big challenge. And we had to pivot a lot. We had to kind of furlough or put on hold a lot of our employees and make plans about what we were going to do. So we basically just went hardcore grassroots marketing, a lot of Instagram. If you're following, follow us on @BivouacCider. And really just try to get the word out there to people in Southern California that we're still out there and that they could find us in cans, and really getting to know local liquor stores and grocery stores and relying on them to get the brand out. And during quarantine, we tripled our can sales.
That's incredible.
That's pretty cool. And we're hoping as we move toward opening bars and restaurants that will go back to the volume that we were doing before.
I was going to suggest maybe you could hit up Blake and see if he could lend you Kevin from The Office for some team boosting morale or some additional sales. But
I'm in the studio here, our office. That's Susanna, and she is our lovely sales rep. And so, everybody went home and kind of sat and waited, to find out what was happening. But thankfully, she came back to work 2 weeks ago, and we're super excited to have her and a whole bunch of our other employees back. And we're back on mission, and we're doing some pretty exciting things that I think would be interesting to you. We've got this thing we created called the Bivouac Adventure Club. And so we are taking people out either paddleboarding or hiking or climbing or camping, and then doing some cider tasting after that.
I like it. Apple juice for all the families over there. Well, Laura, thank you so much. We appreciate your time from San Diego. All the best with, coming back to business. But we're really excited when you shared certainly about what Bivouac meant. So hopefully you guys learned something, but keep that nugget in your head while I share with you a little clip. And don't forget to drop a comment, drop a share, and of course, donate while we're watching this quick segment, because we're about to change our gears and shift into some humor and some enjoyment.
Now this is a story all about how my life's been messed up since the shutdown, and I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. I'll tell you all what I've been doing since I can't go nowhere. Quarantine, been bored for days. inside, feeling like I'm trapped in a cage. Binging on Netflix, snacks, and Hulu, using Google Classroom for the kids' work for school. Saw a couple of lives, they were up to no good. Still chilling outside in the neighborhoods. I heard one little cough and I got kinda scared. I said, you're going in your room now, don't come back downstairs. I searched a couple symptoms and it became clear. Use alkaline and natural herbs and spices in here. Do everything I can to purify the air. Then I thought, I'm forgetting one important thing here. I poured up 2 cups of organic elderberry and said to Corona, you're gone, see you later. Protecting my kingdom, being healthy and clean. Now they call me the prince of COVID-19.
I hope you all enjoyed that. We love all the submissions. We love all the clips people are sending. And this being week 9, I wanted to make sure that you knew what the next one would be. What comes after 9? 10. So if you guys are thinking that you'd love to be on, you'd love to be featured, we've got a whole slate of a double feature show, a little bit lengthier program for you next week. So we'd love to have you on board. We'd love to see your clips. We'd love to see your art. We'd love to hear your voices. But drop us a line, pr@campquarantine.co. Give us a follow, campquarantine.co. Also on Facebook, send us those messages. We love seeing those. So if you'd love to be featured, we'd love to have you. We have comments still coming in from all across the world. We have people that are tuning in from, like I said, from the Midwest, from out west, from the South here in Atlanta, from Lakes. But we just wanted to make sure that you guys know that you know we are thrilled to have you invited into our homes and appreciate you all doing the same. So we're going to continue right along. One more reminder that if you'd like, we would really appreciate a follow, certainly at campquarantine.co. But the real reason for the stream is down below. You can donate at bit.ly/funds4disaster. We have 2 more acts, and this next one is super unique. We're going to stick it around out west. These gentlemen come from Los Angeles, California, and I don't wish to give them any introduction because they don't need one, but these gentlemen are the Summit Sippers. Take it away.
Hi, my name is David. I'm from Marina del Rey, California, and I am a Summit Sipper.
Hi, my name is Jack Petros. I'm from Venice Beach, California, and I am a Summit Sipper.
I'm Dylan Skolnick. I round out the Summit Sipper trio, and I'm calling in from Santa Monica, California here. Happy to be here. Thanks for having us.
Summit Sippers started on a mountaintop, and I can't take credit for that original brainchild, but that goes to David. And we were actually in Joshua Tree, and he'll back me up and tell the story a little bit more. But he told me, wouldn't it be hilarious if right here at the top of the mountain, there's just someone here and handing out delicious beverages? And then we kind of laughed and chuckled for a moment. We're like, yeah, that is a hilarious idea.
We were in Joshua Tree, just scrambling around some rocks. You know, eventually you find yourself in the middle of nowhere. And we just thought the idea of a bar in the middle of nowhere would be hilarious. You know, it's partially absurd, partially beautiful. You know, just those 2 things combining together just makes it a very unique experience for people on their hikes. You know, we love the shock value of it, and, you know, we just like that people have such a good time with it. The very first time we did it, we were like worried if people would, you know, understand it or if they'd be like offended that we were on the trail, you know, serving out drinks. But, you know, we realized as long as we do it tastefully, people love it. So we had to keep it going, and we're going to keep it going from here.
We actually just pursued it and followed through. And it started off as a wacky idea, and then through a couple cheap purchases from Amazon in a table and these inspiring outfits, we set off on a mountaintop, not sure really what was going to happen and how it would be received by the public, but we set up the, in my opinion, world's greatest lemonade stand at the top of the mountain.
That's incredible. Are y'all like college roommates? I mean, what's the story? How do you each know each other? What prompted? Are you guys love hiking clearly? Joshua Tree, by the way, is my favorite place on the planet. And I would be there right now, and I kid you not.
About how we know each other, Jack and David grew up together. And then David and I are actually first cousins. Our moms are sisters. Shout out to David's mom, who's celebrating her birthday tomorrow, my aunt. So
I really want to thank you and all the people at Camp Quarantine. We kind of mesh on a lot of levels in our intention and what we're trying to do. It's all about building community. I feel like that's one of the places we've excelled at, and we see that there's a want for that on our hikes. You know, people are passing by, and we just kind of provide that little extra nudge of people coming together. And I feel like that's what you've done here at Camp Quarantine. And so it's so inspiring and so cool to see all the creative ways that people are trying to bridge those connections and have these genuine relationships with people. So I just want to thank you so much for all the things you're doing. And for everyone else that's, you know, at home participating in these things, now's the time for those creative and kind of wacky ideas. These are uncharted territories. So that means nothing's ever been wrong or right in these situations. That means anything can be tried, which is a really exciting opportunity. And so moving forward, keep looking to find creative ways to, you know, keep bringing people together. People want it. People need it now more than ever. And I'm really excited for the future and the things that can happen, like Camp Quarantine. So I just want to say again, thank you for all your contributions.
How can folks follow you? Where can they stay abreast with your, you know, Hilltop Crests?
Yeah, so our main platform is Instagram. We're on Instagram at Summit Sippers, all one word. And we have a website, summitsippers.com. If you're in the LA area, or even if you're not in the LA area, if you like to hike, you never know when we might come to your trails near you. So, you know, you can sign up for our email newsletter, and that's the best way to be the first to find out about when we're going to hike next. So.
Well, there are trails open here in Georgia. I'm just saying, I'm getting a little parched.
We're hoping to start sipping again real soon. You know, we're almost at that point.
Tell me that isn't the coolest thing. When I saw their video, or excuse me, when I saw their article, they were written up in the LA Times. I said, I have to get these guys on. And they just happened to mention that they happened to come up with this idea from Joshua Tree, my favorite place. As I mentioned in the video, I said, I would be there. I really would. Truthfully, I would be camping right now. I told all my my suitcases that, you know, we weren't going to be traveling for a little bit, and they got sad. One might say that I have now emotional baggage. But nevertheless, I hope to get out there and be camping again in real outside of the backyard real soon. And we hope the same for you. But as we like to do here, we like to finish and end with some music, but also what's right behind me, a campfire. And one thing that I was so ecstatic about was this past week. Again, never know who you'll run into or how things will matriculate and come back to you and find out. But we were running low on some firewood. Look what I've got back here. I have an entire cord. How did that happen? Well, I'm going to let you take a gander with some friends of mine that are also here in Atlanta. Are you guys there?
Nick Anderson.
And I'm Marjorie Anderson.
Yep.
And we live in Avondale Estates. And what are we, 8 weeks now? That is all this guy.
Yeah, I really hate pine wood or pines, and even more so pine cones and pine needles. Yeah. So we had 4 pine trees in the backyard, out of which one was actually in pretty bad shape, and it was leaning towards the house. So that's how I sold her on cutting them down, and then I was able to get all 4 of them.
Plus, we don't like it raining pine cones on our head in the decks. Well, so I'll tell that.
Yeah.
My husband thought that it would be wise to have firewood for the next 300 years. So he told the guys just to leave the wood in the back. And then as it turns out, it was a lot of firewood. So Nick actually came up with this idea.
Yes, we thought, well, why not just make it into something good and try to help someone who's more in need than we are. And so we said, well, let's just give the firewood away if anyone wants it, and if they feel inclined to do so, donate some money to the Atlanta Food Bank, because every dollar counts, really. $1 equals 4 meals for the Atlanta Food Bank. So
yeah,
hopefully, yeah, absolutely. So hopefully we can make sure that people donate a lot of money directly to the Atlanta Food Bank.
A very beautiful and intelligent young lady, Amanda Dees, used to nanny for us. And then she got a real job with the Atlanta Food Bank. And I believe her title is Director of Programs, but that's our connection with the Atlanta Food Bank. So we've always kind of paid attention to what's going on over there.
I'm actually the one that, together with Marjorie, who enjoys the fire pit the most. I like to go out there, just light a fire, sit there, read a book, have a drink.
And the neighbors like it.
Yeah, the neighbors like it too. So when it comes to most recent, when I wasn't a kid, then I would say it's actually every single night out here with either just Marjorie and I or with friends and have a drink and chat and just enjoy.
Yeah.
Really.
It's been a while since we've been camping. We're old and our backs hurt. So.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't even.
a whole different story. I've learned the entire aspects of glamping.
I don't even
Yeah.
know if I would remember the camping experiences because it usually involved a lot of vodka and tequila and whatnot.
It sounds like it still does. Well, Camp Quarantine, thank you very much for coming out here and talking to us and hopefully portraying the message that firewood for food. And stay safe, stay healthy, and enjoy.
Yeah.
So that's how we wound up with all this firewood behind. So as this gets started in the back, and now we don't ever have to worry about running out, this might be running for 24/7. I have no problem now camping in my backyard for an eternity. Next month actually happens to be National Camping Month. So stick with us. We will still be here. But our next guest, since we went to the highest peaks with the Summit Sippers, I feel like it's only fair that we go a little down below. Our next guest comes from Brisbane, Australia, where it is early in the morning with Mr. Mike Bennett. How are you doing?
Hey, g'day, mate. How's it going from
Look
Australia?
at your shirt. Your shirt is incredible. You didn't even tell me you were going to wear the foxiest shirt out there. You're putting me to shame. I feel like I should have put something better on.
Pretty cool.
But I'm going to let you introduce yourself, if that's all right.
Yeah, sure, gang. Thanks very much for having us live, and welcome everybody that's joining us. My name is Michael Bennett. I'm CEO and founder of the Mind Ninja Academy, which is an academy that's like PT for the brain. So we're trying to teach people how to take back control of their mind so they can find themselves better spiritually, mentally, and physically. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. I'm here in Australia, and this is Shorncliffe Pier, and we are in Queensland, Australia, which is just above New South Wales on the east coast. And it's winter here at the moment, so that's why I've got a little bit of rugged on here, and I've got my friends as well down here. Look at that, they're all rugged up. That's Brian. He's on. He didn't know I was going to show him there, but hey, that's his camping.
Now, Mike, I came across you through the Socially Distant Fest page on Facebook, which it's just funny how many folks just have so much talent there and are doing wonderful things just on their own recognizance and their own accord, just entertaining folks here and there. So I'm a late night owl, and I always, I guess, see your sunrise. But so I'm ecstatic that we've got you here this morning, and you're giving us those ocean views. But really, what kind of drew me to you was your message. I didn't know before, like I reached out to you about the Mind Ninja Academy. But what I did really strike and really fell for was your honesty, your opinion, your value, and your perspective. As I understand, today is National Maritime Day. So I know that doing a little bit of digging, you actually were on cruise ships for some time. Right now, obviously, that might not be the best place to be, but is that how you got your start?
Well, no, I was actually a stuntman for 16 years at Warner Brothers Movie World and the Police Academy stunt show here in Australia. And then I started my stand-up career and stand-up comedy in 1998. And so I've been a professional comedian since 2000. And cruise ships, yeah, I travel around the globe on cruise ships, entertaining. So that's an amazing thing that I do. So, and I have a lot of fingers and a lot of little pies, with magic and ballooning and fluting and music and just trying to make people feel a little less at ease, feeling a little less stressed and anxiety. And would you like me to, I'm going to show you something with you, Would you like to see something? Because I know there may be a lot of kids involved as well here and watching this with their parents. So would you like to hear a cool message, bro? Would you like to see that?
Of course. Are you kidding? Of course.
All right, here we go. Because I like to do a lot of ballooning, right? So I use these perfect, beautiful little things. And I ask people there, just going to go, what color do you think that is? What color do you think that is? A lot of people will go, nah, that looks black. And let me show you. There we go. It's actually purple. So what I like to say with this is be careful what you're thinking. You thought one thing, but you can only see your true colors when you apply pressure. See what I mean? So inside here, with what's going on with Corona at the moment, we're finding ourselves getting a little bit knotted up, all right? This could be in the mind, it could be in the belly, and it could be in the heart as well, because we're going through a different change, yeah? You know what I mean? So it's given us all these little twists and turns, which then becomes sort of stress, anxiety, and maybe even turn into a little bit of depression, yeah? And this is more or less what it feels like we're going through, yeah? There's all these twists and turns in our minds and our bodies. But I say, hey, look, you know, with whatever you're going through, whatever pressures you're going through, there's somebody else going through the same kind of pressures. Each person has a story, especially now with what's going on globally with this coronavirus. All right, we all have our special stories.
Look at those Kobe Lakers colors right there for us out in West.
Yeah,
huh?
yeah. All right, so as we do, each and every one of us have our stories. We have our own little things that are tying us up in little knots and making us feel a little bit awkward and maybe stressed and maybe a little bit depressed and anxious, you know, with what's going on. I think it's the uncertainty of the whole thing, yeah? But I tell you what, if we just keep a smile on our face, yeah? If we can keep a smile on our face, we can actually fool our brain as though we are having a good time. So try and trick your mind and keep a smile on your face. And here we go. So as somebody else is going through this problem, these other little problems that you're facing at the moment, it's when we have a story with another story and we join our stories. So by communicating, yeah, keeping the communication open with other people, so we can help each other instead of just trying to solve all the problems ourselves. Yeah, does that make sense? All right, so we've got this. We get rid of the little bits here that sort of pop our minds from time to time, and then we try and join up. All right, we're trying to join up with a mind and a body and a heart together. All right, so here we go. Anybody guessed it? Anybody got any ideas? No, it's gone wild, huh? All right, here we go. So the whole outcome with what I'm trying to say here is, if we connect with one another, if we connect with another, we burst all the stereotypes and all the racism that we have for each other. We get rid of that, and then together, right? How's that?
Oh,
Together we
wow.
can join. That's a Harley Davidson. That's a dude on a Harley Davidson. So with all the pressures that we're going through, if we join together, we'll be able to ride up on the Harley Davidson into the sunset. Yeah, how's that?
When you told me that you were going to do something before, did I even dawn on me that you might be doing something with balloons? No, especially down by the beach. So multi-talented, multi-hyphenate. But
That's
I'm going to let
great.
us finish with kind of the way I know you best. And that's with the music. So take us away into the night, and we'll start this fire here. Let's get this
for
Memorial
sure.
Day
You crank
started.
up fire, and I will play this beautiful Native American Indian Lakota love flute. Yeah. So it's 432 hertz, was the frequency of love and the frequency of nature. So when you hear it, take it into your ears for sure. Let it resonate around your mind, and then drop it into your heart, because faith will get us through this. Yeah, which is a formidable attitude igniting the heart. Formidable attitude igniting the heart. Faith. All right. So have a mind and a heart that's connected, and I'm going to leave you on this. So it's like gratitude, morning gratitude with a Native American flute. Find something that you're a little bit grateful for, anything. I'm going to leave you on this, gang. Cheers. Thanks very much for having me. Here we go.
We're going to let Mike continue to play here to run us out, but just wanted to thank you guys for tuning in today. A reminder that next week's show is May 29th, Friday, 7 p.m. Hope you all will join us right back here. Don't forget, last week to enter to win the patio swing and some of our other giveaways at campquarantine.co. But thanks for joining. Stay safe. Don't touch your face. Wash your hands. Be good to each other. Keep smiling. And have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend with you and your families. Take us away, Mike.
Thank you.
And here comes the rain. Thanks so much for tuning in, y'all. See you next week. Enjoy your weekend.